Hello YouTubers, I've got the Anvil Conversions 1858 revolver here. Shot it yesterday at the range and it's had about 300 maybe 400 rounds through it, so it needs cleaning now. Unlike a black powder revolver, which would be a solid lump after about 30 rounds, this one just keeps going. So I'm going to take it apart and clean it, and I'll show you how that works and show you really how simple it is. So we'll get cracking. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see what's going on. Alright, I've got the 1858 black powder revolver from Anvil Conversions here. Needs cleaning. It's done about 300 to 400 rounds and it's time for a bit of a clean. So it's still working fine, but you can feel it's just starting to get a little bit rough on the action. So let's go and clean it. So first thing, we'll check it's clear, half cut. Open the cylinder, loading gate. You can see in the primer pockets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all empty, and obviously check the cylinder as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's all clear, no problem at all. Right, so I've taken the loading tool for the the de-primer tool. Normally sits in that little tube. I've just taken that out for cleaning. I'll just give that bit of squirt of oil, make sure it doesn't rust or anything. So, just like a black powder revolver, I've got to take the cylinder out to clean it. I'm not going to bother cleaning the internal lockwork. It's nitro, so there'll be nothing in there. Maybe twice a year I'll take that apart and clean the sears and the mechanism. But for now it's regular maintenance, it's just the cylinder. So it's pretty easy to take apart. You've got your standard black powder disassembly sequence, and there's your cylinder retaining rod. It's not gummed up at all, that's free moving, it's not like a black powder gun. So I'll pull that all the way out. The only thing that's odd about this is, you won't be able to see it with the lighting, but just inside there's a firing pin, which is on a little spring, about 3-4 millimeters long, and you've got to push the firing pin into an empty primer pocket before you can remove the cylinder. So I'm going to do that. So cylinder rod's fully out, and just got this little tool here. That's it. So I'm just pushing the primer in, and as I rotate the cylinder you can feel it pop into an empty primer pocket, and the cylinder will come straight out as soon as you do that. So just push the firing pin in. Let's see what I'm doing here. There we are, and you can feel it. There we go. Helps if you rotate the cylinder. There. So I can feel it as soon as it's lined up with an empty primer pocket. You can feel it pop forwards, and the cylinder just comes straight out. That's the firing pin right there. So if I move the revolver away, there we go, and you take the cylinder apart, just lift straight off, and there's your firing pin with its little spring inside. So I can take that out. In fact, it'll just drop out on its own. There it is, and the little spring just sitting there. So it's not very big, just a tiny little 3-coil spring. Okay, so now I've disassembled it. Cleaning's pretty simple. I mean, look at that, it's had 400 rounds and there's not a lot in there at all. It's just a bit of carbon build-up really. It's nothing like a black powder gun. So take your solvent of choice and clean it. I'm just using Brunox for now because it happens to be what I've got. No black powder solvent or anything, you just clean it exactly as you would do any cartridge gun. Just give it a squirt. Go. Don't like the smell of Brunox, nice and spicy. And this is not let me have it for an aftershave. Right, just give it a clean. So, there's not a lot really to do on this. There's another video of this procedure on the Anvil Conversions website, which shows a bit better than I'm doing, how easy it is to disassemble it and clean it, but really just to show you how easy it actually is. The only thing I found is when the gun was brand new, this loading gate was quite stiff. To be fair, after I've moved it backwards and forwards the first 100 times, it's fine. You can just open it and close it with your fingers now. That wasn't a problem. Right, there we go. Loading gate. There's not really a lot coming off this. It's as I say, it's really just a bit of regular maintenance more than anything, and keep the damp out, you know. I was shooting it yesterday in the middle of January in a field, so probably got a bit damp inside, and just good practice to clean it. Right, there we go. Just wipe the excess Brunox off, or your cleaning solvent of choice, Blister or whatever. There we go, good as new. Okay, you can see how big the primer pockets are compared to black powder. It's obviously it's shotgun primers, so they're going to be easy enough to clean. Little Q-tips. Pipe cleaners are good for this, so they tell me. And, just get in there and get any crap out that's languishing in the bottom of the primer pockets. Again, there's not a lot actually coming out. Okay, cool. I don't know if you can see that, there's a clever design on the cylinder of this, but halfway down the each chamber there's a flange, and the diameter narrows down by about 2 millimeters. Beneath the flange is where the powder sits, and the way the dispenser works is when you dispense your powder, it exactly fills up to that halfway point in the cylinder. If you accidentally do a double charge, you won't be able to get the ball in because it'll fill the chamber. You'll see it straight away. You can see straight away as well if you haven't put any powder in yet. It's empty, so it's about as foolproof as they could possibly make it. Obviously, with it being nitro powder, unlike black powder, you really don't want to double charge. It would probably blow up on you. The service load for this is 4.3 grains of Herco or similar speed powder, and it's only proof to 10% of that. That's what, 4.7 grains. So if you accidentally put 9 grains in, it'll probably go kaboom, which wouldn't be very nice. There we go. It says there's really not a lot of crap coming off this at all. It's just carbon build-up really, considering it's had 400 shots or thereabouts. Not bad, not bad. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, you can see daylight through all the primer holes. So yeah, looks good. Cool. Just make sure there's no oil left in the back of the primer pockets. Yeah, sweet. Right, happy with that. Just do the main frame. Again, just clean it like you would any other gun really. Doesn't take a lot of cleaning. Just when I'm doing it. Oh, cylinder. There's loads of videos on YouTube if you want to learn how to do this properly. But it doesn't take an awful lot of cleaning. There we go. Just be careful I don't see the hands just sticking out of the back of the, whatever that part of the gun's called, the arse. Just make sure I don't catch that with a cloth and bend it or anything. There we go. Cool. And there's, in case you're worried about leading, obviously you fire pure lead ball through this, lubricated with airlocks, and there's no leading up at all. There's just now. It's clean so far. I did check it earlier. There we go. So excellent rifling on the barrel as well. It's smart. In fact, the only thing I needed to do to this when I started running it in was, like all black powder revolvers, the sights aren't set for anything particular. So the front sight can be drifted left or right for windage, and for elevation you file it down. You physically file the sight down. Because this is going to be shot primarily at 20 yards, I've filed it down so it shoots about an inch above point of aim at 20 yards. So that works for me. Right, that'll do. That's it. It really doesn't need a lot. So you're just kind of wiping the excess carbon off. There's nothing coming off it now. Suits me. Right, I'll do the reassembly on the revolver. Everything's been cleaned, lubed, ready to put back together. Pretty simple. Let's see. So first of all, the back plate goes on the cylinder. Just drops on, no problem. Now you've got to line up the cavity for the firing pin with an empty primer pocket. There's an easy way of telling whether you're lined up or not. On the back of the cylinder there's a little cutout. You can see, easier if I use this, you can see a cutout adjacent to each primer pocket, and when you put your back plate on, oops, you can see the outline of each cutout there. there and there. So as long as you line up your cavity with one of the cutouts, you know you'll be over the primer pocket. Easy. So there's my firing pin with a spring, and that's just going to drop into the firing pin pocket. There we go. And you see how it's dead easy to line that up really. Right, so put it back in the revolver. You hold it in your right hand, or left hand if you're left-handed, and you've got to push that firing pin down into the face of the back plate. And on the revolver, the thing to watch out for is the hand from the revolver's mechanism is just sticking out about 2-3 millimeters. So I'm going to need to push that in to allow the cylinder to go into the body of the revolver. So let's do that. So offer it up to the revolver frame. So I'm pushing the firing pin in with my thumb. That's it, it's just gone behind the frame. The frame's now holding the firing pin in. You see it's halfway in, halfway out. On the left hand side of the gun, actually the back plate's already pushed the hand in. I didn't need to do it with my fingers. So I'll just push it fully home. Put the cylinder retaining rod back in place. Just line it up exactly, it'll fall in. There we go. So that just glides into place. And when you rotate the cylinder, you hear a little click, and the firing pin is now perfectly in line, back where it should be. Really easy. It looks more complicated than it is. Once you've done it a couple of times, it's really simple. So that's now fully assembled and working great. The only thing left to do is, there's the depriming tool, and that just sits in the little holder on the left hand side of the gun. Just giving it a quick wipe with oil, keep it clean. There you go, that lives on the frame. That's it really. I'll just give it a quick wipe over with a rag, and that'll go in the safe, ready for the next time we shoot it. Easy.